I am getting a spam call. Fantastic. Go away. So let's meet with Cassia's family now. Your lordship, what about the meeting with the navigators of House Orsellio? Clemente immediately focuses on the data slate in her hands. Allow me to report, the esteemed navigators of House Orsellio have taken residence in the guest estate and await a meeting with you. How would you like to receive them? Lose our profit factor by 1. Make arrangements for a reception worthy of the refined tastes of the Navis nobility. A meeting with the navigators is just a formality, no need for any extravagant receptions. Nobility is what you understood it as? Okay. I think that's probably correct. I want to make a good impression because they are an important house and Cassia is an important member of my crew that I never replace. So I'm willing to take the profit factor hit as much as it pains me. Make the arrangements for a reception worthy of the refined tastes of the Navis nobility. Understood, your lordship. Clementia promptly makes a note on her data slate. Would you like to hold this meeting shortly? Yes, Cassie and I are ready for the talks. Then I'll have messengers sent to retrieve the esteemed guests. And yeah, same crew that we've got right now. Big ceremony. Cool. Regent Aaronto Orsellio, esteemed delegation, the rogue trader and the Von Valencia's protectorate welcomes you. Come this way, please. We were told to deliver Cassia to the Regent. So, but we were never told where the Regent was. So I guess this is our way of finally fulfilling that promise. The esteemed representatives of the Navis nobility have arrived at the rogue trader's court, the regent of the great house Orsellio, Aaronto Orsellio. His companions, Lady Glyceria Orsellio, Navigator Lesso Simone Orsellio, and his intended bride, Lady Navigator Alexandrino Orsellio, Lady Navigator Elena Hateria Orsellio, and Navigator Dax Orsellio. He's normally on some world not even on the map. That's fair. I assume this is how the game intends you to fulfill that obligation. That there's not some other place I could go to have met up with him, since we didn't have a journal entry saying go to this location. A tall, wizened old man proudly stares at you with milky, unblinking eyes. Loose skin sways with his every move, as if the navigator's flesh is detached from his bones. An unsightly hole mars the regent's face where his nose should be, and the old man's skull is covered with spiky growths. That is a very gross description. Yeah, if you're only actually delivering her over your dead body, yeah, she's not actually going to be allowed to go with them. Unless he gives me a very good reason, and that it's very temporary. Rogue trader. The regent's piercing voice cuts through the silence. On behalf of House Orsellio, we would like to express our immense satisfaction at this meeting, and our gratitude for the warm welcome. It pleases us to know there are still lords in the Koronus Expanse who observe etiquette and the traditions of hospitality. And yet, this is not why we are here. Our grace is obliged to note how much the rogue trader has done for House Orsellio by protecting its beloved child. We waited for many turns to behold her radiant visage. The regent shifts his unblinking gaze to Cassia. Come now, child, there is much we need to discuss. Cassia steps forward, but then stops and looks at you. Nod wordlessly, or as long as the Lady Navigator remains under my protection, I will speak on her behalf. I mean, that's a bold option. It's not clear what her intent or emotion is. Is she wanting us to take over this discussion? Or is she just looking for our permission? Because I definitely want to be part of this discussion. But this feels a bit too strong. I'm gonna go with it. As long as she remains under my protection, I will speak on her behalf. I'm not certain that's the right call, but yeah. The Regent pensively scratches his scant beard with webbed fingers. I suppose we can tolerate that, after all. It was you who rescued the child. If so, tell us, what exactly happened at Yerk 5? I say that I'm speaking on her behalf, but I'm hoping that any dialogue checks she's the one that makes, because we have to use our fellowship and our persuasion. It's going to turn out poorly. The renegades among your people seized control of the station and tried to kill the Lady Navigator. They didn't get away with it. Regent Aaronto nods slowly. In that case, House Orsellio is deeply indebted to the rogue trader, and we are willing to reciprocate such a magnanimous gesture. We trust that a treaty of friendship and alliance underpinned by the transfer of several artifacts of exceeding rarity will suffice. Now come, child, it is time we departed for your new home, so that we may finish what we started. He stretches his withered hand, covered with translucent leathery membranes, towards Cassia. I dare not refuse the will of House Orsellio's regent. Cassia, I would be honored if you decided to stay. Absolutely. I would be honored if you decided to stay. Don't go with them, please. Unthinkable. Whoa, what?
Don't just stand there. Help the rogue trader defend the child and the palace.
Okay, so the unthinkable wasn't about me asking for them to stay.
Tyranny. Kill the girl!
I won't heed your cries of mercy.
Okay. Who is Tisiphone? He named several of the people who came with him. Can I get the dialogue? Okay, you just stopped at unthinkable, and then dialogue finished. Yeah, we didn't get any of that. Can we go back to where he named his... Who was with him? Was Tisiphone one of them? Yes. Lady Glyceria, Navigator Lesso Simon, Xenia, Elena Heteria, and Danax. So no, Tisiphone isn't one of them. I think Cassia mentions her if you talk more before this. Pretty sure Tisiphone is Cassia's mother, or was. That's true. When we found out that they were wanting to meet us here, I should have talked to her. That would have been a reasonable thing to do. Which obviously I didn't do. Okay, but Tisiphone is Cassia's mother, and they're wanting to stop the tyranny of Tisiphia. And another navigator has chosen to fight against this group. So you guys had a worm in your group. Alright, well, Cassia, you can be there. I'd like to have one of my snipers in that position, but I guess not. Same with that. Come on, Warden. Alright, Argenta, you can be there. Ourself. Wow, I guess we are way back there, so there's not a lot we can do. I guess move forward and hopefully we can get somewhere better. Hopefully we can get to cover at some point. Then as for you guys, Abelard, you can go there. Pascal, you can go anywhere. Pascal can get all the way back here. Just on the complete opposite side of their entire attacking force. Fantastic. I don't know. We'll put you somewhere in the middle. And Heinrichs. Maybe put you here, and then we can decide what we want to do with you. But you'll have some cover from some of them. Same with Abelard. Pascal's gonna die. I'll put him in cover. What is his turn order? Yeah, he's pretty far back, so having him in cover makes some sense. Alright. We'll start the battle there. I think that's fine. We've got all of our people placed reasonably, except for Ignatius, because he started too far back. Alright, so for front line... seems like a reasonable choice.
Being ordered around.
Rear, getting critical benefits. We'll give that to Argenta.
Isn't this a job for the serfs?
And then for dodge bonuses, we'll give it to this whole area. That all seems reasonable to me. Now I could technically move her somewhere like here. And then just hit all of them for a ton. Not a bad call. I think we'll do our usual, though, of bring it down on Ignatius.
Me, if you insist, Lord Captain.
Start there. Yeah, you, Navigator, are in the way of where I want to stand. How dare you? Well, let's start out by lighting ourselves on fire. And then orchestrate flames. We still have another action, which we could use on Inflame, but it would just hurt ourselves. We could run and gun somewhere. Does this kill movement? It doesn't.
Already done.
So I can run and gun, which will allow me to do Ignite. Ooh, on you. Yes, please. I'm sorry, Navigator. You chose the wrong side and you're going to die for it.
All too easy.
And then I can still move into cover.
Let's see how they respond to this.
Okay, back to Cassia's turn. Yeah, from where she is, she can't see. So we could move her forward. I moved her just a couple of squares so that she had better vision. Then could I group up a bunch of them? Need to move her a bit farther. Alright, that hits most of them.
Be careful not to cross my gaze.
There you go. That obviously hits Abelard if we stay where we are. This is half cover, actually. Which isn't great, but it's something. And then she can hit all of them.
Emperor, give me strength.
And that seems like a very good starting action. Navigator's already half dead. You're gonna die way too soon. Okay, Argenta. Let's mark her with a bounty.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
They're all 3-tier enemies, except for the Navigator, who's 4. Okay.
Doubt is for the weak.
0 damage. Come on. Run and gun. Let's do this, which will make our next shot do a bit more. Can we do another shot?
I'll do it.
There you go. Claim the bounty to get another free shot.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
Alright, she should die automatically to fire and bleeding on her turn. And then just
I'll do it.
Furious Recital to raise our motivation.
Break their morale.
No, Regent, don't go into danger. You're a Regent. Your job is to survive. Oh, well, she died. Back to Ignatius. Who can you see? No one. Perfect. Go here. That'll give you line of sight on everyone. And then it's just start burning things. Could I get you into a better spot where you can get a line on a bunch of them? If I put you, like, here... or here? That's hitting 2. That hits 3 if I target this body. A little silly, but... it's not a bad call. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
I shall not fear.
And we're even in cover.
All my might.
You guys shouldn't have...
Not a problem for me.
yeah, you shouldn't have decided to attack while we were here. I'm pretty powerful, in case you weren't aware. So we've got 3 left. This guy still has a good amount of health. Oh, 4 left. I almost didn't see you. We've got run and gun up again, which means could I move here and then hit all of them? I can. Oh, you guys made mistakes.
Nothing I can't do.
Didn't even need to use Cassia's ability to give us a whole free turn. We just won. Level up's nice. Let's talk to Alina first. Even though leveling up probably is the smarter choice because then our numbers go up for our skills. Mercy! The Lady Navigator covers her face with her disfigured scaly hands, each with an extra finger and conjoined phalangeal bones. Her clothes are covered in blood, mostly that of your servants, and several unexploded bolts are sticking out of her chest plate. Rogue trader, whether on purpose or out of ignorance, you are harboring a monster that is cunningly pretending to be an innocent maid. Spare me, and I, Elena Hateria Orsellio, will swear to tell you the whole truth about the madness that is devouring House Orsellio, like a malignant tumor. Do not let the Regent deceive you with honeyed lies, lest the cursed child ruin your protectorate as well. You see rage and despair in the Lady Navigator's face, but neither is directed at you. I sentence you to death for your crimes against a rogue trader and Lady Navigator Cassia. Any last words? Or your fate will be decided during the trial, Lady Elena. I will hear what you wish to tell me. I'm willing to listen to her. She can have her trial, rather than us just sentencing her without hearing her side of the story. Yeah, you get a trial. Thank you for your lenience, rogue trader. 2 hours pass. The unnaturally bulbous eyes of the navigators constantly shift between you and Cassia. Black secretions run down her cheeks instead of tears, leaving unsightly streaks. Lady Navigator Elena Hateria Orsellio is charged with the attempted murder of Novator. I wasn't reading that, I was reading this. Grrr. Why do you have a dialogue that's separate from the dialogue? You could have fit that into this box. I, Elena Hateria of House Orsellio, swear to tell the rogue trader nothing but the truth. May the God Emperor be my witness. Pathetic. Silence. With all due respect, House Orsellio has hardly covered itself in glory thus far today. It is time its representatives answer before the rogue trader. Regent Aaronto, representatives of your house made an attempt on Lady Cassia's life and attacked a rogue trader. Very true. Lady Elena, what do you have to say in your defense? I'm not interested in your pathetic excuses. Wardens, get to the House Orsellio delegation out of my palace and off my world, or execute them. Enough, I have no desire to listen to anyone. The punishment will befall each member of House Orsellio here and now. Wait, does that mean we would execute Cassia too? Because that is a crazy choice. That's just madness. Regent Aaronto, representatives of your house made an attempt at Lady Cassia's life and attacked a rogue trader. Yo, dog, I heard you like dialogue. Should we put dialogue in your dialogue so you can read while you read? Yes, exactly. That definitely should have been part of this dialogue. But yeah, he brought someone into our palace that attacked us. And he's got to take some sort of punishment for that? I mean, maybe not punishment, but that's on his head to some extent. Rogue Trader, House Orsellio humbly asks for your lenience and forgiveness. We could not even imagine these vile rats could be scurrying among our ranks. As for them sneaking into the Rogue Trader's palace and staging an unthinkable crime, God Emperor be our witness, the accused renegades seek to spark a feud between our houses. Be that as it may, you are responsible for the actions of your people. Give me one good reason not to execute you on the spot. Come now, Regent, you've proved your innocence. How do I know your words are not just another trap? I believe you, Regent, and yet this is now the second attempt that has been made on Cassia's life. I need answers. That's, I think, the most fitting answer. Like, I don't think he's proved his innocence. I don't think it's another trap. I don't think he is responsible and should be executed. I want to know what's going on. They're holding out secrets between him and her. Let's get to the truth. What's going on? We are ready to tell you everything we know so that this misunderstanding can be remedied as quickly as possible. Tell me more about the renegades. Why are the people trying to kill Lady Cassia? What do you know about Cassia's unbridled power? So I'm guessing they're talking about the fact that Cassia's emotions affect all around her. Probably. Because I don't think that is normal, even for navigators. But it doesn't seem so bad that everyone needs to just keep trying to murder her. Tell me more about the renegades. They're madmen who seek to destroy the centuries-old traditions of our great house, so carefully nurtured by the previous novator Tisiphone Orsellio. They deem the century of her rule a tyranny, and our most sacred relic a curse that must be destroyed. Fools! If the Atlas were to be destroyed, the whole House Orsellio would follow it into oblivion. Why do the renegades seek to destroy the house's relic? They dread its power, for only a Novator can fully grasp the mysteries and harness the power of the Starway Atlas. What the renegades call a leash, we call a guiding star. She seems to be a mutant even by Navigator standards. Yeah, there's something different about her. Which, the side that we tend to believe, the side that wants her alive, and therefore we like more because they're not trying to kill Cassia, they see her difference as a boon. Like that she is blessed, whereas everyone else seems to think that she is cursed. So this Starway Atlas, they call it a leash, but the good people, as we see them, consider it a guiding star. Why are people trying to kill Lady Cassia? Everyone in the house knows the child is the keeper of the one true Starway Atlas, which once belonged to our great Novator Tisiphone Orsellio. The ungrateful wretches secretly hated her grace, and when Tisiphone abdicated her responsibilities and set off for parts unknown, they staged a revolt to destroy her successor. Does Cassia really carry Tisiphone's Atlas? We believe it with all our heart. The Novators spent many cycles on the world where the child was born. It is said that everyone who witnessed the miracle of her birth simultaneously departed for destinations known only to the Novator. Tisiphone gave the order and followed them soon after, leaving her precious gift, the Atlas, to Cassia, and therefore marking her as her successor. I mean, I wish Cassia would just speak up right now and confirm, like, yeah, I do have it. It looks like House Orsellio has fallen on hard times. That's super true. There are lots of schisms breaking out in their house. The Regent stays silent and then replies, "To call your statement false would be a lie. For many years, we managed to maintain the fragile balance within our house, but then the Novator's departure shook the faith of many. The treasury is empty, the navigators are scattered, the warp routes are scrambled, and many of our allies cannot be reached, which is why it is so important to complete the child's education. It is Cassia's duty to take Tisiphone's place and lead the house to prosperity. Such is her great destiny." I guess that does put things into a bit of a different perspective. Obviously, we want her as our navigator, but the whole house feels they need her to lead them. And so it's a question of, does she fit a more useful role as a member of our party and as our navigator on our one ship, or leading her whole navigator house? And she probably fills a more important place in the Imperium, leading her house. But she fills a more important role to me in this game as my navigator. So, yeah. It's a failing house, but it's possible that if she took over the reins... I mean, part of the problem is that the house is currently being led by a regent, and that regent doesn't have the Atlas that was such an important aspect of their house. So the fact that it's failing could be because she isn't leading it, and she might be able to rebuild their house to the standing it once had, or at least get it back in a better standing than it is now, if she was allowed to go to that position. How do you know, or what do you know about Cassia's unbridled power? A special gift for a special child. She was born with it and grew up under its influence. The instability sometimes hampered her education, but we learned to prevent most outbursts. As long as the child remains calm and remains in seclusion, the powers cannot take hold of her mind. Is the instability, which is what we're thinking of with her ability to affect others, is that the special gift? question is, are these tied together? Special gift that she was born with and under its influence, then separately the instability hampered her? Or is the instability her special gift? I think the instability is her special gift. Because the instability does seem like predominantly a downside. We knew that when we got to the station, we found out that a bunch of these servants had killed themselves because they were nearby her when she was sad. Like, that's not a good thing. Byproduct, maybe? Yeah. So, I guess, yeah, the instability could be tied to the Atlas, maybe. Like a side effect of her having the Atlas, or whatever. If we're thinking the Atlas is her special gift, and this is just a side effect, byproduct, etc. Could be. Then I could understand why they would consider it a curse. But presumably, if her emotions affect others, then if she could keep a happy emotion regularly, then surely that's to the benefit of all those around her. I doubt she just only sends off negative emotions into others. Well, I think I've heard enough from you. The Regent acknowledges your words with a nod and waits for you to continue. Lady Alina, what do you have to say in your defense? I do not know what it is you wish to learn, but I will start from the very beginning. A long time ago, Tisiphone ascended to the throne of Orsellio. She was a daring Novator who brought part of the house to the Expanse, hoping to strengthen our position in the Imperium. The house prospered, but Tisiphone was never satisfied. She went mad in her pursuit of power, seeking more influence, more control, and she saw enemies everywhere, even among her loyal followers. Paranoia was slowly driving Tisiphone insane, and one day she created the Starway Atlas, a relic that is implanted in our bodies at birth, a noose around our necks. Our gift and our damnation. Tisiphone used the Atlas to control us, subdue our will, and mold our thoughts. If anyone put a toe out of line, she killed them with a glance. Okay, so it's not a single Atlas. The Starway Atlas seems to be a power given to one individual, but also implanted into all others somehow to control and kill. Maybe it is a single thing, the Atlas that she has as the controlling individual, and it's tied to their DNA as members of Orsellio, or navigators of Orsellio. Because I doubt if they were that against... If it was an actual physical relic that they were implanting into all of them, I'm sure the renegades would just stop implanting them. Problem solved. Or even cut it out or something, like... So it can't be a physical relic, because it'd be super easy to just not keep implanting it or remove it. So it's probably a single thing, aspect of Cassia, that is probably tied to their DNA or genetics or something that gives her control. I can understand it and believe that. At first, many branches of House Orsellio tried to resist her tyranny, and Tisiphone cut them down with extreme brutality. For example, the entire Satala branch was destroyed simply because its leader asked too many questions about the Atlas and wanted to know the truth about its creation. What else is Tisiphone or Celia guilty of? I understand Tisiphone's transgressions, but what does any of that have to do with Lady Cassia? Why didn't you attack before? Why now? What else is Tisiphone guilty of, in your mind? Tisiphone's madness weakened the dynasty, and not long ago the Novator vanished. Indeed, her loyal followers lie when they say she chose to retire. The truth is that nobody knows the truth. I hope she is rotting away on one of her secret worlds. Alina finishes with a sneer. I mean, finishing with a sneer is not a... If you're trying to make yourself seem like a honest, good person who is just doing the best for your people, sneering usually doesn't give that vibe. I understand Tisiphone's transgressions, but what does any of that have to do with Lady Cassia? Tsimne passed her atlas on to her successor before fleeing the house to a newborn child. We could not surrender the throne to the tyrant's creature. Wow. Calling Cassia just a creature. Tsimne was cunning and treacherous. She must have hatched the entire plan beforehand. Her disappearance, the child, the transfer of the leash. We feared that one day she would be reborn in Cassia's body, and we could not let that happen. You called Cassia a monster because of Tisiphane's atlas. Yeah, so Tisiphane sounds like she was extremely cruel with the atlas, and then passed the atlas on to Cassia, but Cassia was a baby at the time. Surely she is not... They have no proof that Cassia is in any way as cruel and heartless as Tisiphane seems to have been. She just has the potential if she controls the atlas. And so that's enough for them to want to stage a bunch of revolts and try and kill her. Basically, she has access to a weapon, but they have no proof that she intends to use it. But they're like, the weapon is dangerous enough that you have to die. I don't know. Not feeling like you have a justifiable enough reason. At least not yet. You called Cassia a monster because of Tisiphane's atlas? Largely, yes, but there is more. Have you never felt pure, unadulterated disgust while standing close to her? Or perhaps fury or fear? Who but a monster would manipulate the minds and feelings of others, even more so than Tisiphane herself did? Generally, no, I don't get those feelings when I'm standing next to her. I tried to romance her, in fact, but failed those early requirements of the conversation. So disgust is not the term I would go with. Why didn't you attack before? Why now? Tisiphane always had plenty of opponents, but we were afraid to trust one another. Any of us could be spying for her followers. We saved our strength and dealt the first blow 5 years after the heir was born, striking at one of the estates on Ear TV. But the girl survived, and Regent Aaronto hid her so far away and guarded so thoroughly it took us another 13 years to find her. Good job, Aaronto. And then another 2 to get into the Regent's good graces and reach Arc 5. Now Cassia is in the spotlight, and the House Council is about to put her on the throne. Surely there is no better time to cut off the serpent's head. She accidentally emotionally influenced us? Could be. Yeah, maybe the reason we were trying to romance her is because she forced us to like her, but then also failed to force us to like her enough to carry on with the romance. So you admit Regent Aaronto was not aware of the assassination attempt. Elena clicks her tongue loudly. Regent Aaronto is guilty of mass killings, intimidation, inhuman torture, abetting Tisiphane, and raising her heir. His crimes are many, but this one is not among them. I'd love to see his head on the chopping block, but honor prohibits me from slandering him in a trial before the rogue trader. I mean, at least you are being honorable and honest there. I think I've heard enough. The rogue trader now knows about the Regent's atrocities and the girl's corruption. I hope I succeeded in warning you about the danger that lurks within Cassia Orsellio. I don't think we need to talk to the Regent again. I mean, we could see if he has anything further to say. Same with Lady Elena. Lady Cassia, you too are an injured party in this. What would you do in my place? Ready to deliver judgment? I'm not interested in your pathetic excuses. Wardens, get the House Orsellio delegation out of my palace and off my world. Everyone, including Cassia, must die. No. Cassia, what would you do in my place? If I may speak, so many dirty colors have poured from the mouths of those present that I feel covered in filth from head to toe. I, as the future Novator, I want to bleach them, purify them, and let them go. Heed me, I am the one to blame for what happened today, and I also accept full responsibility for the actions of my house. Cassia speaks bravely and openly, though her hands are shaking a little. I don't think you can actually take blame. I recognize that you feel responsible because you are the future, the real head of the house, but the Regent was the one acting. You have not in any way been given that position. But she doesn't want anyone to die. She's hoping that she can heal them. Yeah, bleach the colors, purify them, and let them go. Interesting. Vile wretch, who do you think you are? Will you now start killing those who have displeased you as Tisiphone did before you? I think that's the entire opposite of what she just said. Yeah, let them go. Unless she's specifically only talking about the colors. Dirty colors poured from the mouths of those present. She wants to bleach them, purify them, and let them go. If she's talking about the colors that have poured from their mouth, and not in any way talking about the people, then sure, it could be claimed that she still is okay with killing. The fury on Alina's face gives way to desperation once she realizes what she just said. She slowly reaches for the atlas embedded in her chest, looking at Cassia with obvious fear. Okay, no, I'm wrong. The atlas embedded in her chest. They actually have an artifact embedded in their chest. Why did your branch not just stop putting in those artifacts? Like, sure, those at the top that made that decision would be subject to the holder of the atlas's displeasure, potentially killing them. But everyone else, they'd have to be killed the normal way. Weird. Hearest, child, this burden is too heavy for you to shoulder alone. You are not yet ready. Click. There we go. I implore you to settle this conflict. I offer the rogue trader a 100-year contract with House Orsellio, committing us to charting the shortest and safest routes for the Von Valencia's protectorate within the Koronus Expanse. I will also remain aboard the rogue trader's vessel and assist him until he decides otherwise, or until duty to the house summons me to the Novator's seat. So she's aiming for a peaceful resolution. A 100-year contract, which would be very profitable for their house. That all work. No, not necessarily that the rogue trader only works with House Orsellio, but the House Orsellio will work for the Von Valencia's protectorate. What are you going to do, Lady Alina? I accept the offer. And the best part is that Cassia stays on board. Lady Cassia, who told you that you were needed aboard my ship? Oh, harsh. Man. Thank you for your input, Lady Cassia. I will consider whether I should accept your offer. What are you going to do, Lady Alina? The esteemed Regent will put Lady Alina and her people in one of our family gales. That's a word I don't know. She is of House Orsellio Navigator. A House Orsellio Navigator, after all. There is no need for our precious blood to be spilt. Lady Alina stares at Cassia incredulously with bulging eyes, but remains silent. Her hand restlessly caresses the spot where her atlas is embedded. Is Cassia controlling her right now? That's the question that we don't have an answer to. Because her hand is holding on to the atlas. She's looking at her with bulging eyes, but remaining silent. It's like, is Cassia forcing her to say nothing and just sit there? Part of me wants to accept the offer. Part of me wants to consider. I assume I can still accept it later. Let's see if there's other options still available. Thank you for your input, Lady Cassia. I will consider whether I should accept your offer. Cassia nods curtly. So I can accept. Navigators will be free to leave Dargonis, ready to deliver judgment. You don't think the control is that direct, at least? Okay. Probably know too much to comment without spoiling something here. That's fair. Yeah, a lot of is just me talking out loud, guessing. We know that it said the Atlas was used to kill and control. But yes, I don't know how deep the level of control is. If it's just sort of a leash, as they call it, of do what I say with no actual controlling force, but know that if you don't do what I say, you die, and anyone around you that I feel dies as well. Sort of the control of, I can't actually control you in any way, but I can make you and those you care about die instantly, so do what I say. That level of control. Or if it is just full control of their body of, I can force you to do whatever I want, and you can't do anything to stop it. That's a big spectrum. We don't know, at least to my knowledge, we don't yet know how much control that is. Let's try speaking to each of them, see if they have anything further to say. Alright, Regent, do you have anything further? You don't. And Lady Alina, anything further from you? No. I was hoping they might have more to say after hearing both sides give their arguments to cross-examine, as it were. But I guess not. Then I'm fine with Lady Cassia's offer. We'll sign the contract and the navigators will be free to leave Dargonus. Like, yeah, you committed murder, but I'm gonna accept Cassia's offer because Cassia doesn't want you to be killed. And you are nobles, and this is 40k. Nobles killing random peasants. Usually, well, they probably weren't random peasants here in the throne room. But usually you don't kill the nobles. So we'll accept Lady Cassia's offer. Cassia smiles. You have never seen her so open or so radiant. Thank you, Ignatius. I mean, Rogue Trader. Yeah, so that's the emotions that she's projecting. And it is a happy emotion, which is what I thought. That she doesn't have to only project negative emotions. We just usually hear about it when it's the negative emotions. Because that's when people start, you know, killing themselves. Regent Aaronto remained silent for a long while. So be it. We failed to notice that our child had grown up and become strong. You may stay with the Rogue Trader until the house summons you. His influence is anomalous, but it has served to bring out Blessed Tisiphone's most precious talent, the talent of leadership. Rogue Trader, we are now bound by the terms of the contract. Your representative may contact House Orsellio at any time, and we will respond. And one more thing. Protect the child like the apple of your eye. Remember that you have the future novator of a Navis Nobilite house aboard your vessel. I am aware. You get to know where and how exactly it was created at least, but far later. That's fine. I'm going to go back to the ship to talk to Cassia. We're at the end of my normal streaming time. I guess I should have gone to the bridge. This is going to take me another step. It's fine. We'll talk to Cassia. Then I'll just do the quick leveling up of everyone. Proceeds to drag her along to every fight. Yes, but I always leave her in cover because I want her to survive. So it's like, I'm not being too cavalier with her life, surely. She doesn't get shot that often. But yes, I am somewhat cavalier with her life. Alright, Cassia's up front.
It is so fortunate you have come. I admit I was seeking you out myself. After the events on Dargonus, it felt like an anthracite grey mantle had dropped on my shoulders. I spent a long time thinking about our very first meeting and what happened next. I cannot wait to shake off this dreary color. It was very naive of me to follow in the footsteps of the man who raised me in a gilded cage. And I was deaf to the needs of my own house. But You opened my eyes. As the future Novateur, I must gain wisdom to restore House Orsellio to its former glory, no matter the cost. Thank you. It will be an honor to keep guiding your vessel through the Sea of Souls, for as long as the needs of our dynasties are aligned.
Cassia touches the place where her atlas is implanted. Why don't we talk about something else?
You will hear no objection from me, Lord Captain.
You did mention the Starway Atlas when we met. Or you did not mention the Starway Atlas when we met. That not word is essential.
I would never reveal this secret to an outsider. But you have come to my aid more than once already. The Starway Atlas is a sacred artifact of House Orsellio. It helps our navigators chart a course through the warp. This crystal, the Atlas, has been inside me for as long as I can remember, giving me strength. But the others... I noticed the renegades in the palace were choked by ashen ghosts of despair when we met face to face. I swear the ghosts were reaching for their atlases.
Cassia lowers her lashes and touches the plate over her heart. So the atlas is some kind of crystal that is implanted in the navigators of House Orsellio at birth. Certain navigators in your house fear the atlas's power. You said that you wouldn't share your secret with just anyone. Does that mean that I am someone to you? Is that a way to get back onto the romance path? I suspect not. Also, we are romancing someone else. Yes, the atlas is some kind of crystal that is implanted in the navigators of House Orsellio at birth.
But my atlas is much more powerful than the others. It's the atlas of Tisiphone herself. That is what people have whispered behind my back my whole life, although no one knew for certain. But I always suspected. I simply did not wish to admit it to myself.
So it's a crystal... I guess Cassia nods to read the extra text, but it's a crystal that's implanted into the chest of every navigator. But if this is actually the Atlas of Tisiphone, then that means that she removed it from herself to implant it in Cassia as a baby. So if it's able to be removed, then I still question why the other navigators haven't taken them out. Because that's what it sounds like, is that Tisiphone removed her own and still lived. It didn't kill her because she was able to then go into hiding afterwards. So yeah, why haven't the others removed theirs? I don't know. Certain navigators in your house fear the Atlas's power. That is the implication, at least. Yeah, the implication is that because apparently she implanted it in Cassie and then immediately went into hiding. It's possible that she took it out and died and somehow made her body never found. Yeah, I'm sure we'll learn more. Currently, it seems suspect that there's more going on than we know. And I'm sure it could be... One option is that the game just didn't think about it, and so it's just something that doesn't make sense. Common in games. But as you're stating, there's a reason that comes up later, which is what I would suspect, is that at some point we will get an answer for how this all played out. Maybe we meet Tisiphone later and find out more of the story. Who knows? And obviously, I don't want spoilers on what we will find out later. So yeah, certain navigators in your house fear the Atlas's power.
Certain navigators in my house have tried to kill me more than once. But the tales of Tisiphone's brutality, I am beginning to wonder. What if they are all true? What if I will be a new tormentor to those who serve me?
Her silver brows furrow in fury, then she lets out a disconsolate sigh. I don't think that having the Atlas will necessarily turn you into a new tormentor. That's who... Having power doesn't necessarily corrupt, but a corrupt person who has power will lean on that power more. Cassia seems to be genuinely a good person, so I suspect she's not going to be brutal, tormentor, etc. Even as she comes to understand the power of the Atlas more so. You said you wouldn't share your secret with just anyone. Does that mean that I am someone to you?
I didn't. I only meant that I am at ease in your company.
Your heart stutters, a searing heat envelops your shoulders, throat, and chest, and your brain grows foggy. The by now familiar influence of Cassia's power is intoxicating your mind more than usual. Cassia looks away, a subtle blush blooming on her pale cheeks. So yeah, she still likes us, clearly. But we just failed the romance. Well, thank you for telling me.
Thank you for listening.
Giving you a slight smile, Cassia nods in thanks. Alright. This is where I must beg my leave. It's time we close this chapter on our cooperation. Get off my ship.
I have enjoyed your company. Thank you for the conversation.
Yeah. Alright, level ups. This should be the last level of this. Is it? No. Just looked. I was seeing that being full. Maybe that's just the experience. Okay. I thought that was like how many pips until we were fully leveled up. And I'm like, are we almost done with this archetype? No, we still have lots more to go. Alright, we can't level up willpower. So usually I go for ballistics next. I could boost strength or toughness to get them to whole numbers. Strength is kind of worthless for me. Toughness theoretically would give me more health. But I don't think I really care. Let's go with ballistics. Oh, perception we could also get to a whole number. Perception is actually useful. I'm going to go with perception then. Because that helps with attacks. Preventing enemies from dodging. Which I don't think really matters with our psyker powers. But we do, on occasion, very rare occasion, use our guns. Alright. We've got various talents. We can't yet get Psyker Extremis. +7 to a few things while in combat. While out of combat, intelligence, fellowship, and perception and willpower are decreased. No. Gain a stack of never stop shooting. No. Yeah, I don't think I care about any of these. The problem is I don't really ever actually use my weapons. I've gotten so focused on psyker abilities. No, definitely don't want that one. Have we actually taken all of these? Every single psyker thing there? Burning blood. Hits adjacent enemies. Fire within. If we kill 8 creatures in one combat, then our next attack costs 0 AP. Meh. Boost our willpower. I mean, we sometimes, if the fight is with a bunch of weak enemies, we sometimes can get up to 8 kills or crits. But giving me 1 free attack. I don't know. We'll take it. It theoretically could come in handy at a later point. You will go with ballistics. Oh, this isn't our skills or our characteristics. This is skills. You are primarily awareness. Demolitions as well, I think, when Argenta's not around. Or Cabela. I think she also has a decent demolitions. Lord Xenos would also be another one that I think is primarily you. Yeah, Argenta's better. Cabela's better at demolition. Awareness. Who else do we have? Cassia already has great awareness, and she's always in the team. Lord Xenos. Jai is never in the team. Pascal is decent. Lord Xenos. Somehow Heinrich's Lord Xenos is terrible. I don't understand because he's Order of the Xenos. Like, that should be his thing. So giving her Lord Xenos probably makes the most sense. Okay, and here's where we're choosing our characteristics. I can't give her ballistics, sadly. I could boost perception, which is probably the best out of all those. Other people I take regularly, we'll go with Argenta, level you up. Skills-wise, Lord Xenos. I can give her Lord Xenos, but she's at a negative 170. Yikes. You don't end up using his biomancy much either for Heinrichs? I usually use it. One thing that's bad about his is that, for whatever reason, whenever he uses warp powers, it seems to affect the veil degradation a ton. So he just destroys the veil degradation in ways that we don't. And I don't think Adira did either. But he takes a huge chunk out of it. You could boost her Medicae or her Lore Imperium. You really don't have a lot of skills that... She's got demolitions, but nothing else. Lore Imperium, Cassia's got. Medicae, of our people that we regularly take. Cabela, Pascal, so you wouldn't be catching up even to Pascal. And he's usually in the team. Athletics is Abelard. Oh yeah, she's only got a 30. She's not going to be athletics. We'll give her Medicae. I think that makes the most sense. And then boost her... She's already got ballistic skill. I can't raise that. Perception? Agility, strength, willpower. Don't really care about agility. Certainly don't care about strength or willpower. Probably perception. Heinrichs. Let's level you up. Skills-wise, I need to get your Lord Xenos up. Let's be real. I mean, we regularly have Pascal and Yerlet on the team. He should have Lord Xenos, but I don't think it's actually super needed because of everyone else we have on the team. Athletics, I think, is more useful. Unless Abelard is there, he's our next best, and I sort of swap between them. Although lately I've been bringing both. But athletics would be a good one. Carouse is another one that Abelard usually takes. But I could get him to have it as well. Though Carouse doesn't seem to show up very often. I guess those are the few. Athletics, Carouse, and Lord Xenos are kind of the main focuses. I'll give him athletics. And then for here, we've already given you weapon skill. I could give you strength or willpower. Probably willpower. Get that to a nice round number. Pascal. You've already got intelligence and weapon skill. Strength. Toughness. We could round toughness up. And he does die a lot. So toughness probably wouldn't be the worst choice. Don't care about ballistics. Don't overly care about perception. I think I'm going to give him toughness. And then skills-wise, you are primarily logic, Lord Xenos, Medicae, and tech use. thinking Lord Xenos. I keep saying that on everyone, but Irlet is regularly not in the team, and he's the backup if she's not around. And Jai's never in the team, so... Cassia. It's interesting that we're not really getting talents on most people, just characteristics and skills. I've already boosted your fellowship and willpower, probably perception, but let's see. Yeah, perception, fellowship, and willpower are the only characteristics you really care about. So, perception. And then skill-wise, awareness, coercion, commerce, lore Imperium, and persuasion. She's got 5 skills that she's our expert on. That is crazy. That she's got over 100. Even 111 is just crazy. Let's give you lore Imperium. Get another skill up over 100. Because why not, you know? That is insane. And then Abelard. We'll level you up too. Already given you athletics. Carouse is kind of your only other skill that we've got as a primary one for you. Who's commerce of our team? Cassia. Okay. Yep, that's covered. Coercion is going to be Cassia. Lore Imperium is Cassia. Persuasion is Cassia. Demolition is Argenta, Cabela, or Irlet. And Medicae, Pascal and Cabela. But I think it'd be too much effort to get his Medicae to be useful. So no, we'll go with Carouse. And then for this weapon skill, we've already taken, unfortunately. So strength and toughness are his other 2 primary. Do I make him tougher or do I make him hit harder? I think hit harder. He's already pretty tough. And the other 3 I don't use much, so I'm not going to bother leveling them up here. But there we go. I think we will end the episode here. Next time we'll have to decide where to go, somewhere new. Or maybe I'll actually do the quest for the Bloodspun Web that we've been sitting on for ages. Make that the plan for the stream. It's not a bad call. I'll decide then. But for now, we're going to end the episode here. So thanks all for watching, and I will see you guys then. Bye.